Hey guys, it's Junior. Welcome back to my channel, Horsepower Warehouse. Today I wanted to talk with you guys about Resto mod builds in particular. It is no hiding here that I do a lot of classic car restorations. I mean, I got stuff all over the place. And if you're not familiar with my channel, welcome first and foremost. But let me show you a little peek into the shop into what I'm currently digging into. We've got everything from a Hellcat powered Challenger, Oldsmobile 442 W30. We have a 65 Corvette, or 64 rather, 65, 59, 66. Got a 67 peeking around the corner there. 55 Nomad and a 62 fuel injected Corvette. And of course a 65 Jeep FJ6 mail truck scattered in the mix. So I do a lot of classic car restorations, and a lot of my builds are to an NCRS or a Bloomington Gold standard when I do it. I always reference the manuals when I build the cars, and all the little nuances and intricacies of each model year are applied and, you know, reflected correctly, and that's why all my cars, you know, usually judge out to a higher point standard than, you know, what is usually put out of most restoration shops. As such, and I do a lot of hot rod builds as well. This one is a really cool 69 Camaro with a Mast Motorsports LS3 T56 Magnum Mosier rear end. It's got coilovers, the big Willwood brakes. Really nicely built hot rod that we did here. The guy's gonna love that car. So as such, I get a lot of inquiries about doing resto mods on Corvettes. And anytime I get that inquiry, I always kind of cringe. Because when I do a resto mod Corvette, there's really only certain manufacturers and components that I want to put my name on when I do a build. And as such, you know, most people, they want to go mid-level on these builds, and regardless of what you do in terms of components, the labor is pretty much the same either way. So to build one of these cars to a level that I would be comfortable putting my name on, I mean, you're going to spend a minimum of $300,000 to do it. And people go, holy moly, Junior, why is that? You know, I could get a Art Morrison chassis for $30,000. And that's great, but the Art Morrison chassis that I choose is more like $50,000 after we get all the suspension components and all the other stuff, all the upgrades. There are only 3 manufacturers of chassis that I endorse that I do builds on here, Horsepower Warehouse. That is Art Morrison, Roadster Factory, and Rothspeed. You can check out all 3 of their chassis. They're all comparable. They are all wicked awesome. But as such, you know, I'm really limited to those 3 in terms of my comfort zone because that's what I want to represent. Additionally, when I build a resto mod car, I have standards in terms of pretty much all the components. I don't use mid-level shocks. I really don't like using mid-level brakes. These are carbon ceramic ZR1s. This is the best you could buy right now. This is what I love to endorse, stuff like this on my builds. This has an LS3, which has been kind of superseded a few times since this car was built. If I were to build this car today, I'd put an LT5 in it. Most of my customers, the T56 Magnum is awesome. If you want a manual transmission, that's an awesome way to go. Most people these days, they want the modern 8-speed or 10-speed automatic. I mean, it's a whole different car that we're building today versus what we were building 10 years ago. Things like shocks, I mean, all those components, A-arms and things like that, I really only verge towards the top of the line stuff because I don't want a car that's going to be outdated 10 years after I build it. I want it to be something that you can pass down to your kids and it'd still be a really cool car. And I don't know how many resto mod cars I've seen come through here that were built 20 years ago, and you know, they really show the strains of time. So when you build a car correctly to a top spec, now I'm going to put in my description 2 wiring harnesses. One is like $600, and I'm not trashing painless. They make a fantastic kit. But the other harness I'm going to show you is $8,500. It's for a Nissan race car. It just shows to you guys the differences in quality. I mean, one is made with Raychem heat shrink and mil-spec wiring and mil-spec connectors or aeronautical grade connectors, and one is standard, you know, automotive style deals. Look at both of them yourselves and determine, you know, where you would want your $300,000 car, what you would want it to be outfitted with. And I take that same type of thinking with the wiring harness, I apply it to the entire vehicle. I mean, fit and finish, and I mean, actual materials. I mean, it's very, very important when you're building a car to this level that you think every single thing through and you really explore what's available in terms of leading edge technology, because you don't want something that's going to be outdated a couple years after you build it. That's what's really important with maintaining the value of a resto mod, is it's maintaining relevance, you know, in today's market. And that's probably why I mainly do NCRS after NCRS type builds. I mean, I don't even know if I have any cars here right now that I've built. They sell pretty quickly. But, I mean, you guys can go back through my previous videos and you know the quality that I represent here. I'm very, very picky about what I put my name on. And as such, I'm a bit of a prima donna about selecting customers to do aftermarket builds, because I want to make sure that my focus is in line with what they want. This one just got back from the Good Guys Autocross event. Did pretty dang well. What do you guys think of this? It just came in yesterday. We haven't even touched it. Fresh off the truck. Really cool W30. Did a previous video on this one. It's just been wet sanded and buffed. It's getting all the little trim pieces put back onto it, but this car is going to come out fantastic. 64 Corvette, you can tell it's got the drum brakes. 65 Corvette is still waiting to be reassembled. It's kind of been put on the back burner while we get the 64 and this 59 together. If we take a peek underneath this one, this is actually a ZZ4 crate motor with side draft Webers. So it's got 4 Weber carburetors that are feeding from the side. It's going to be really, really cool. Tremec transmission, Art Morrison 4-link rear end with coilovers and a 9-inch. Let's take a peek. Isn't that nice? It's going to be really, really cool. Fully polished stainless steel exhaust, and we're going to have a center exit. So again, really cool. Usually it would come out in this area, but this is actually a light now, an LED light. So really, really nicely done hot rod. This one is all custom interior it's black with red piping and red pinstriping all over the car and really nice black paint. So I'm excited to get that one done. You guys know about the 66 Mosport 427 car that I'm putting together. You want to take a peek? Ooh. Nope, that's all you get. Sorry guys. For right now, and I got a future video coming for that. I'm not gonna spoil anything. 67 coupe coming together. Well, kinda. Everything's back from powder coat. It's got its place in line here. Myers-Manx dune buggy. This entire thing's going out to paint. The Nomad I had referenced, and then we got that 62 fuel injected car that our new hire Sean is putting together. That car's going to be really, really nice as well. I just placed a really expensive parts order for that. So this upcoming week, that will be going together as well. But I know I sound like I'm a little picky here when I take in these, and I'm not going to lie to you, I absolutely am. I really am specific about what I want to put my name on and what components I want to back in my build. Whereas when one of these, I'm just building it to spec. I look at the trim tag, we decipher it, we run all the casting and the actual numbers on the car and make sure it's true, but then I build it to how it was actually made in that model year. And you know, I'm building a specific thing. I already know the vision before I start. Whereas with this, you know, I have to get in line with the customer's vision and make sure before I even bite into it that we are in the same level of expectations in terms of what it's going to actually cost to do this. There's a wide variance in components, guys. You could buy a $600 harness or you could buy a $8,500 harness, and it makes all the difference in the world on the final build of the car. I mean, take my word for it. Look at a Riddler show-winning car. I mean, those Riddler cars are astronomical in terms of the build quality. You're talking thousands and thousands of hours to build those cars. They get that level of wiring. It's aeronautical or mil-spec grade wiring, and there is no, I want to say butt connector. Oh my gosh, there's not even a butt connector on the vehicle that tows those to the show. You know what I mean? Like, it's that level. These, I'm building it as it came out of the factory, down to the original style tower clamps that are kind of a known failure point, but they don't even use these anymore. They went to a screw style hose clamp. It's more reliable, but that's correct. You got to be careful with these because it has these little tabs here, and if you over tighten this bolt, it'll bend these tabs out and then it'll no longer be tight and you'll blow your hose off. Just a little pointer for you guys. I am really a fan of this dark blue interior. They call it Daytona blue interior, and this is a silver blue. So 2 split windows here. One is half the price. So this one I think we have listed in the 140 range, if I'm not mistaken. And this one is over 300,000. So, I mean, you're talking about 2 different price ranges here, but I would not have built this car today the way it is built. But all the same, like I'm telling you guys, it's gonna be, to get this level of componentry and paint job and custom interior and so on and so forth to today's level, you're gonna spend at least 300,000. I mean, more like 400,000, more than likely. After total labor and total parts, I've seen guys spend way more than that. So it really matters how crazy you want to go. You know, if you want a Nelson Racing twin turbo 427, and we got to do a bunch of custom work to actually get the turbos down in there, and then, you know, make a custom intercooler for you, and then custom exhaust. You know, it really matters how deep into the rabbit hole you want to dive. And when you have capable techs behind you, you know, the sky is the limit in terms of what you want to make happen. But you really got to be careful with what you build, because if you go mid-tier when you build these cars, the final value will never reach what you have into it. But let me know down below what you guys think. I mean, I just wanted to throw that out there and tell you guys why I'm so hesitant to put together Resto Mod Corvettes, just because of the cost to do so correctly versus, I mean, I could do stuff like this all day for, you know, a fraction of what it would cost to build a Corvette. Not to say that this car doesn't have a lot of money and components in it as well, but again, I don't put my name on mid-level stuff. You know, I'm just at the point now in my career and in my shop to where I want to represent the best that I can possibly put out. So if I can't put out an NCRS top flight level restoration, then I want it to be one of the most killer Resto mods that I can put my name on. So let me know what you guys think down below. Either way, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, take care.